So Adam Schefter just dropped a bomb, saying that the Eagles are expected to trade Carson Wentz in the coming days in what would be the latest blockbuster QB deal to rock the NFL. Now, in my opinion, this is news that every Niners fan should want to hear. The 49ers obviously need a quarterback, and Carson Wentz would be a fantastic fit in the Bay. Now, I know a lot of names have been thrown around at quarterback, and I know we've seen a new quarterback every day on Twitter come in this mix, and now Carson Wentz has entered this conversation. However, looking at what he brings to the table, he stands out far more than any quarterback option out there. He's experienced, he's cheaper than Jimmy, and when healthy, he's an MVP caliber player, amongst other things which we'll talk about later in the video. So, let's not wait any longer. Here's why the 49ers acquiring Carson Wentz would make perfect sense. Before I get into it, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam, and if you have any questions or comments about this video or anything else, make sure to leave them in the chat below. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, for this video, I'm going to keep things pretty simple when looking at what Wentz brings to the table. In my opinion, the two things that we need in our next quarterback are arm strength and mobility. And when I say mobility, I mean ability to move around in the pocket, not necessarily be fast. And those are two things that Wentz possesses and is damn good at. Starting with his mobility, Wentz torched the 49ers last year in Week 4 by being able to move around the pocket and getting out when necessary, an added bonus to his mobility. And as for arm strength, the tape will just show it to you. He's able to sling the ball downfield when his team needs him to. And matter of fact, just rewind this video if you want to see some of the plays where I mentioned his arm strength. There are plenty of plays that are in this video where you see him do that. As for some other traits that Wentz possesses, he's 6'5", has a quick release, has had plenty of experience in a complex offense both in the NFL and in college, and would have been the MVP in 2017 if he didn't get hurt. All of these traits are just added bonuses for what we need from him. Now, as for weaknesses, the big ones are confidence, interceptions, recent regression, and injuries. But looking at Wentz's situation, it makes sense as to why all these things happened. First off, Wentz has never had a solid receiving core, and the offensive line has always been a revolving door recently with so many injuries. It's very hard for a quarterback to succeed with those two things, so it makes sense as to why he's regressed. And that weak play from those two cores brought a lack of confidence and more interceptions from him. In San Francisco, he doesn't have to worry about that at all. With an already solid receiving core, a solid left side of the offensive line, and lots of room to improve on the right side, Wentz will have all the opportunity to regain his confidence, throw less picks, and improve rather than regress. As for injuries, Wentz was healthy all 16 games last year, and the only major injuries he's had since then was a back fracture in 2018 and the ACL tear in 2017. So, I don't really know if that's really injury prone for a player. I will say this though, if the 49ers believe that his regression is because of his injuries, no chance they should trade for him. Just avoid him, get him off the list, find a new quarterback. This video is assuming that the 49ers believe that his regression was due to his supporting cast, and that can easily be fixed. So with that all being said, there really isn't much to hate about Carson Wentz, and gives you more proof that he's a fantastic fit for this team. Now, how does Carson Wentz separate himself from the other quarterback options for the 49ers? I'm going to make this pretty short since I talked a lot about this in the Sam Darnold video I made. The link will be in the description for that. But the main reason is experience. Wentz has 5 years of experience in the league. The rookie quarterbacks have none. For a team in a win-now situation, a proven quarterback is much better and safer than a rookie in the draft. As for other veteran options, no one even comes close to Wentz's caliber. Yes, there's Dak, but I strongly believe that he'll re-sign with Dallas, and it's always a concern signing someone coming off an injury like his. And please do not comment, Deshaun Watson is better for us. No, he is not. In fact, he's the worst option out of all the quarterbacks for this team, and we're not getting him. Plain and simple. If you want to hear me talk about that a bit more, I'll link a podcast in the description where I explain that a lot. Also, the 49ers simply need a guy Kyle Shanahan can trust and is slightly better than Garoppolo. And again, this video is contingent on Shanahan trusting Wentz. If Shanahan does indeed trust Wentz, he should pull the trigger immediately. So, out of all the options for this team, when looking at who fits for a win-now team the most, it's Wentz, and there's no debate about that. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, Sam, his contract is massive. There's no way we should trade for him because of that. If that's your argument, then you obviously need to do a bit more research. Wentz's contract is actually cheaper than Jimmy's. Here's Wentz's, here's Jimmy's. Also, the only cheaper options that could bring the same productivity as Wentz, in my opinion, are rookies. But like I said before, a win-now team is better off with a proven veteran. As for other veterans, the only ones that are close to or are higher than Wentz's caliber are Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson, who I already said we're not getting. So this argument really makes no sense. The only reason someone should be making this argument is if you are sold on a rookie quarterback. Now, as for what we need to pay the Eagles to get Wentz, I think a fair deal for this would be our third this year, pick 96, and our first next year. It seems like the Eagles want a first, so they get that, plus they get a bit extra. In my opinion, this isn't that risky of a deal either. I believe that Wentz is and can be a franchise quarterback in San Francisco, and if that's the case, we just robbed a bank with that deal. If that's not the case, so be it, but considering what the Eagles want, I think this is fair. And by the way, this deal right here is close to the highest I'd pay for Carson Wentz. If they want pick 12, no chance I'm offering that. I think 96 and a 2022 first would satisfy their needs, and we'd get a franchise quarterback for a very cheap price. I know there were reports that they wanted 2 firsts, but let's be real, who's gonna do that? The price will definitely drop over time, and matter of fact, we could get him for an even cheaper price than a third this year and a first next year. This is roughly the same price we'd have to give up for a rookie quarterback as well, as we definitely need a trade up in the draft if we wanted to get one. So, all in all, in my opinion, this is a fair deal for both sides. Hopefully the Eagles aren't asking for too much, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. So there you have it. Bringing Carson Wentz to San Francisco makes perfect sense for the 49ers. He possesses all the traits we need in our next quarterback and is altogether probably the best option out there. If we don't get Carson Wentz, it's really going to put us in a tough spot when it comes to finding another quarterback. So I hope Lynch and Shanahan have faith in him and can get the deal done, or they have someone else in mind that they want that nobody is talking about right now. Whether or not we get him, we'll see a lot of other names thrown out there, so it'll be interesting to see where Carson Wentz lands and who we get at quarterback. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Go Niners!